As I kid you not, as soon as I hit the live button, the tea kettle clicked to let me know that it's done getting the water ready. So I'm going to go grab my tea. I will be right back. Today's tea selection is decaf Earl Grey. Keeping it simple. It's my go-to anytime that I'm working in the studio. Ask me what I'm reading. The answer is too many books. I have entirely too many books. I actually ran to the library to pick up a hold that I had placed. And Alex heard me mention this on the phone. And Alex was like, "You have too many books. Stop borrowing more." And I'm like, I know. At least I finished 2 yesterday. So, yes, I did finish 2 books yesterday. This first week into January, like, I've been getting a surprising lot done, I'll be honest. Before I proceed further, I'm going to poke around on the phone to get the live stream chat on this screen. That way I don't have to, like, because I only have this one monitor. Just to simplify things, we're going to get the live chat on here. Excuse me. I had dinner beforehand, so we'll be launching soon. Hi, Jessica. How are your holidays? I hope that they were cozy at least. Oh, StreamYard rearranged a few things on the back end. It's going to take me a bit to get used to stuff. But anyway, I didn't introduce myself. Hi, I'm Kelsey D. Comics. I draw comics. Today I will be drawing comics. Specifically a comic that will be coming back from hiatus very soon. And by very soon, I mean next week. So very excited about that. Asking how the holidays were. Quiet, thankfully. How about you? For the most part, quiet. I took that as a time away from studio because I really needed a reset. I needed a vacation, and I'm glad that I got one. So, all right. I have to poke around here for a second, but not too much longer. I'll give you a preview of what we're going to be drawing. I don't know why YouTube keeps bringing up shorts immediately upon turning on the app, but okay. I forgot that was the thing. View channel. There we go. Okay, cool. I got the live stream going so I can keep an eye on the chat on this little screen, which was the intent. Oh, let me turn up the opacity on the pencil layer here and turn on some music. I have an idea of which song I want to play, but I don't remember what the track is called. I mean, this wasn't what I was going for, but I'll play it. Okay. So let me turn up the opacity here so that you can see what it is that I'm going to be inking. This is a page, an upcoming page of Vanita and Demon King, which is coming back from hiatus. Pages will resume starting next week, and they'll be on my email newsletter. You can sign up for free down in the description. So the email's free. I only send it out once a week. Check it out. So anyway, I need to turn this down. I didn't realize how loud the music was. Okay. So I'm going to be inking this in because the pencils are already done, and I'm going to be tackling this bookcase. I'm going to be using a custom brush to tackle that bookcase right there, but I'm going to be inking this in. That's what we're doing today. Okay. Actually, I need to add this to the color set. I have a custom color set for Vanita and the Demon King now. Kind of like I have a custom color set for The Legend of Jamie Roberts. Here, Vanita and the Demon King's palette is still a work in progress. I will be adding to it as I work on this, but this is a start. I'll tell you what, you want to speed up production on your comics, make a custom color palette. But yeah, hope everybody's holidays were good. I spent my holidays knitting a sweater because I volunteered to knit a sweater for my younger sibling. There will be updates from the younger sibling, and I'll get into that later. But I was knitting the sweater, reading books, playing with the cats, generally enjoying the peace and quiet of the holidays while I could. It was the first time I had taken a vacation in like 10 years, or at least a vacation that long. I had never taken a 2-week vacation up until last week. So that was really nice. I had to build it myself because that is one of the perks of self-employment. Oh, I don't know if that came through on the live stream, but I definitely unplugged something from the laptop. I thought that I have a headset, like a noise canceling headset, but it's Bluetooth, so it has to recharge every once in a while. And it looks like it's recharged, so I had to unplug it. I actually kind of consider it timely that I'm coming back to producing Vanita and the Demon King, because considering the moment that we find ourselves going into, at least here in the United States, I find it apropos that I am coming back to a story about a trans woman and a demon king crashing on her couch. This is, by the way, a kind of a slow burn romance story. So if you like yourself trans romances, check out Vanita and the Demon King. Link will be down in the description, as well as I have the link right here. vanitaandking.com. This is a romance. It will evolve into a romance. It doesn't really start out that way. It starts out as more of a slice of life. But as I worked on the script, I was like, oh, this is a romance. Kind of an unconventional one. I'm not really that keen on the romance genre. So it's more like a romance story that I, as a reader, would want to read. So very queer, honestly. By the way, for folks who are keen-eyed and familiar with my comics work, this is Claudia from The Case of the Wendigo that I'm drawing right now. And she does make an appearance in Vanita and the Demon King. Eventually Acrodon does too, but not until like much, much later. Ooh, if we can get to the coloring stage in today's live stream, I'll show you how I do Claudia's dress, at least for this page. Because this is probably the last page that you will see her in this particular dress. Claudia's dresses are always really fun to do whenever I draw her. Because they're almost always like flowers, but there's always some kind of like technique to do them digitally that's different each time. I don't know, on the back end of it, I think it's fun. I love Claudia, she's so sweet. Oh. Actually sort of figured / assumed that Vanita and the Demon King was going to include romance between the titular characters. I love all of these slashes. Also, hello, Laner guy. Thank you for joining us in the chat tonight. Okay. Now, okay, this red line going through this panel, I'm not inking that in. That is the perspective line for panel 2. I feel an extra kind of powerful because I finally figured out how to work the 2-point perspective ruler in Clip Studio Paint. And I figured it out, mapping it out for this panel. And I'm like, again, I feel like a special kind of powerful. Because, oh my God, I honestly went into that panel with a little bit of dread, being like, oh no, I got to figure out how to make this work. But I made it work. Okay, I turned that perspective ruler back on because it's going to be a whole heck of a lot easier to do straight lines when that ruler is turned on. Oh, we're going to actually keep it at like brush size 4 for this instance. I'm trying to play with line weights more. I've been really bad about that. Like pre-vacation, I was really bad with playing around with line weights in inking stuff. I want to get better at that. Oh. For anybody who is curious, yes, this is a square register back here that Claudia has. Oh, I have to turn the ruler off again. Because that line had to be fudged a little bit. But, oh, wait, I gotta, well, I was about to say I have to turn it back off again, but I gotta draw the monitor still, so let me do that. Nope. There. Okay. Aha. Slowly turning into the professor from the Spyro games, the original trilogy, thank you. Where you're just like, you're running around as Spyro, minding your own business, and then all of a sudden, you'll hear in the distance, no. Aha! That is the professor. Fudge? Yes, I know, I had to fudge some lines. That's something that a lot of people don't want to admit when they're drawing perspective, is they don't want to admit that they have to fudge lines. Oh, that's too thick. Okay, that's better. Oh, I feel the need to mention this, if only because I've talked about Yes, hello, Los. I feel the need to talk about this because I've talked about this YouTube channel before. So one of my favorite YouTube channels is Folding Ideas, run by Dan Olson. He dropped a new video tonight. As of the recording of this live stream, January 10th, 2025, Dan Olson dropped a new video. And I watched that during dinner tonight. And I have learned some things. This is actually one of the first like Dan Olson documentaries that I watched it, and how do I phrase this? New video. How do I phrase my feelings about what this documentary made me feel? It almost made me feel sorry for the subject in a way that you don't feel sorry for the GameStop apes. And when you see the documentary, you'll get what I mean. But like, I don't feel that sorry for these guys, because it's like, you did paint yourselves in a corner and that's on you. But it does help me understand a portion of the population that previously I was like, how do you reconcile this? And now I know how they reconcile it. That's all I'm going to say about it, like, because I don't want to spoil it for you. I would really encourage y'all to watch it. You know, it just occurred to me. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, because I don't think it's coming across on the screen, but on my monitor, I'm like, these curve lines are kind of fuzzy. And then I realized I have the brush shape set to pencil, not pen. So I need to redo those. That's a lot crisper. Okay. Also, for the first 10 minutes of the new Folding Ideas video, I was like, what direction is this going in? And then I was just like floored by the time the title card played. And I was like, oh, this is the documentary we're in for. Okay. But like in a good way. I was floored in a good way. In like a, ooh, this is gonna be so entertaining. I am actually really glad that I got across this desk shape. Because admittedly, when I drew the thumbnails for this, I pulled this thing that I often do when I am thumbnailing scripts, is as I am thumbnailing it, I'm like, oh, future Kelsey can figure out how to do this part. And this is the one time where I feel like I actually am future Kelsey and I figured it out. Yeah, Los is correct. Folding Ideas went full H-Bomber guy. He really did. Which I am looking forward to when the next H-Bomber guy video drops. Because he teased in the last video, he was like, stay tuned for next time when I make a donut. I'm not joking. That's what actually happens. Bye. And I'm like, I've been hanging on for over a year, being like, when are you going to show us you making a donut? I want to see. And then, before I started inking in the rest of this table, I realized I did not draw the pencils for this table, and I'm wondering how much detail I want to put in there, because that's not the focus. of this panel. And I don't want there to be a ton of focus on this corner over here. I want the focus to be more over here. I have a solution. I just thought of this. I have a solution. Okay. I forgot I still had the curve tool. Oh. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with it. It's like, why draw a table when I could use that particular angle to just draw a panel border? Use comic layouts to your advantage, y'all. That wasn't the angle I was going for, but that is the line I need to draw, so I'm not that mad. Okay. Again, I feel like such a genius for freaking figuring out how to do the 2-point perspective ruler, because for the longest time that was just rocket science to me, and now I'm like, I get it! Eventually I'll have to do a video about that. Or at least show it off on a live stream and be like, so here's how I'm making it work. How is the weather over there as I brace for more snow? We definitely had snow. We're under a winter weather advisory. It started at 4. It's still going. It's very cold. I had to turn the heat up. And I have my tea and flannel and sweater on for a reason. But I definitely... My lizard butt had to put my bathrobe over both of these because I was that cold. I miss Arizona. Maybe one day I'll find myself back out west, but considering what's been going on over there lately, maybe not right now. Mutual Aid LA Network has a spreadsheet of resources for folks who are in California right now. So, shouting that out. Oh, speaking of shouting out in mutual aid, I am actually trying out a new feature on my newsletter this year. Instead of doing Featured Artist Friday, I am doing mutual aid asks. So if anybody has like a call for mutual aid, or a friend is seeking mutual aid, I'll shout it out in my newsletter so that folks can find it and support. There's also a mutual aid channel on the Fantasyville Discord server for anybody who's interested in that. I know I have a bean brush tip in Clip Studio Paint, and I'm not using it. For one, I don't want to use it. And for two, again, these little details over here are not the main focus. It doesn't have to be. Doesn't have to be super duper detailed, so I'm not using super duper detailed bean brushes. Ooh, good idea. Oh, thank you. I definitely did not run this by anybody. I just kind of went with my gut. So I am glad that this resonates with some folks. I figured the newsletter would be the best place to put it because currently my newsletter subscribers is my biggest and most consistently engaged space. Like, the folks who follow me on my newsletter engage with my stuff the most. And there are metrics for that. And maybe one day I will actually show you the metrics and in like a here's how I do newsletters kind of stream. I know I did one of those with the Columbus Cartoon Coalition. So if you would like to find out more about that, youtube.com/@Columbus Cartoon Coalition. I'm pretty sure I have a link to the coalition somewhere in my links info tab. If not, I will add it. By the way, since this is the season to talk about like New Year's resolutions and things like that, I did not set resolutions. Usually I set like goals. I kind of did that, kind of did not do that. I am trying something different in that I am trying a power word. And my power word for this year is magic. Because I want more magic in my life, however that looks. But I wanted to throw that out there in case there are people out there who are like, ugh, I don't want to do New Year's resolutions. You can try something else. You can try maybe like a power word, something that you want to bring more of into your life. Set a goal. Previously, I would set goals, but I'm kind of at a point now where I'm like, what's my goal? Feed myself, make comics, don't die. Those are my goals. I feel like those are good enough. Oh, just saw the comment. Talking about the mutual aid asks on my newsletter, it helps push community building too. Absolutely. Because honestly, none of these comics would exist without y'all. Just to be transparent, these comics would not exist without y'all. Oh, let me turn the perspective ruler back on. That would help. And because these comics could not exist without y'all, I wanted to reciprocate and pay it forward somehow. And I figured the mutual aid ask on the newsletter would be a good way to go about it. It's a start. Because if there's any one thing I would like to see more of in 2025 as well, it's community. And to get community, you got to build community and really engage with it. Sports metaphor, build wins, not goals. I hadn't really thought about it that way before. I can definitely see Ted Lasso saying something like that, though. And I haven't even seen Ted Lasso, but I could see that being a quote from the show. Also, for the keen-eyed viewers who maybe cannot parse the pencil lines here, yes, Claudia is pregnant. Do I have to ink any more lines in there? Hold on. When your pencils are so sketchy that you don't know if you've hit all the lines that you gotta draw. Okay. While I have the perspective ruler going, let me get this bookcase handled just to get that done and knocked out. And then I'll start inking the figures. Thank you, Clip Studio Paint, for making a 2-point perspective ruler. I really need to start putting content warnings on my live streams being like spontaneous singing. Gasps in Spanish. Yes, indeed. Claudia's pregnant! Gasp in Spanish. Okay. This next part is going to use a custom brush. Okay, yeah, it's under artificial. So, a shout out to the Starfish Face for making this custom brush tip for bookshelves. But I did go in and I made a duplicate and tweaked some of the brush tips a bit so that I could make my own bookshelf variant. Because there were some books that, since I do a lot of books in like perspective, and some of the pre-made bookshelf brushes that Starfish Face put together had books like kind of catty-cornered or at different angles. I'm like, well, this doesn't work for the perspectives that I got to draw. So I had to make my own custom brush based off of her custom brushes, and that's what this is. This particular brush I'm working with is my own variant of her custom brush. Which I might have to turn off the perspective ruler to make this work. Actually, this is really annoying. Okay. There is a way that I have to do this. It's just going to be really boring to watch on live stream, but I'm going to have to do it. All right, I got to dig into my files. Give me a minute. Okay. So I have this pre-made bookcase thingamajig. This isn't all in a straight line. So because the bookcase is in perspective, here's what I have to do. Select, copy. That's on the wrong layer. Okay, copy and paste. We're actually, I think it just pasted over the wrong thing. It did. It pasted over the wrong thing. Gosh dang it. All right. Okay. Well, this was done wrong. I know how to fix this, but I kind of know how to fix this. All right, hold on. Okay. Okay, we got it. It didn't fix the original file, but we got this working. I'm going to turn that layer color blue so that you can see what I'm doing. Free transform. Okay. Here's where we start to get interesting. Okay. Squish that down a little bit. Okay. Delete. Okay, so there's one bookcase. I just flipped that image, make that a little easier to delineate. Layer color blue again. And free transform. I'm actually going to scale this time before I start to free transform. So I got it scaled down. Line the perspectives up a bit more. Okay. And delete. I'm sorry that this was the boring part, y'all. But I want to get this particular bookcase done just to make sure that it's done. I wonder, though. Okay. Nope. Okay. All right. Got it. Rotate. Just a smidge. A smidge more. Okay. Select and... Wow, I was just eyeballing it, but that's actually like... That was the 90-degree angle that I wanted. Cool. My senses have gotten sharper. Free transform again. Shrink it down and squish, squish, squish further. Okay, that's too squished. Gotta line the lines up to match the shelf. Oh. I only have one more boring shelf, y'all, and then it's done. Promise. Then we can get to the actual, like, fun inking stuff. Oh, hi, Jeremy. Thanks for joining us in the chat tonight. Okay. Well, not the button I wanted. Okay. Copy and paste. Move it down. Make it blue. Ooh. I'm actually going to delete that much. And then we can... Since this little thing is on its own separate layer, free transform. Oh, I gotta turn the perspective ruler back on again. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm not quite done yet. Okay. All right, we're turning the blues of these layers off, and then we're going to merge them together. Perspective ruler back on. Okay, there. Boring book stuff is done. And And we got to turn that perspective ruler back off again so that we can ink the figures over here.
Squeeze and squishy.
Indeed, yes. It's what we do when we use the transform tool. We squish. The Lord squishes and the Lord squasheth away. Sorry, just remembering when I introduced Trigun to Alex for the first time, and there is a scene where I'm talking about the original Trigun. I have not seen Trigun Stampede yet, so I'm talking about the original Trigun from Madhouse. So in that, there's an episode where Nicholas D. Wolfwood just chucks his massive 2-ton cross onto somebody. And when that scene happened, Alex just went, "The Lord yeeteth, and the Lord yoinketh away." And then I had to pause it. Oh, so I mentioned the new Folding Ideas video that dropped today. There were 2 instances that made me laugh, but one made me laugh so hard that I had to pause the video and cackle for like 10 minutes. I'm not saying which part it is, but if you know me well enough and you watch that video, you might know what the bit is. I'm not spoiling anything because I want y'all to watch it. It's so good. I'm trying to come up with an idea for paying tribute to the LA community and firefighters. I mean, if anybody feels like helping Jeremy out in the comment section, go for it. I'm kind of distracted by drawing figures here. Excuse me. Okay, I thought there was more in the convo, but we'll give it some time. I'm just going to shout it out again. Mutual Aid LA Network has a spreadsheet of resources for folks in the area who need them. So check out Mutual Aid LA Network. I know I've been sharing the link around on Blue Sky a lot. I might have shared it on Discord. If I didn't, I'll share it after the stream tonight. So I think I mentioned in a live stream previous, but in case I haven't, one thing I'm doing this year for 2025 is I'm doing a no-buy challenge. And turns out I'm not the only one to do this. There were a number of people who, when I mentioned this on Blue Sky, they also mentioned that they're doing a no-buy year. And in fact, there is a YouTuber. She used to go by the username Lady of the Library. She now goes just by her name. Chinza something or other. She's Scottish. And she talked about doing a no-buy year because she's been doing no-buy years for the last 5 years. This is her 5th year doing it. And I'm like, good on you, girl. So yeah, it turns out that I'm not the only one with the idea of making 2025 a no-buy challenge. I did, however, when I was coming up with the rules for the challenge, I decided that mutual aid was going to be the exception, and that if I had the dollar to spare and people were asking for mutual aid, that I would give it. Because if it's mutual aid, that money's not going to corporations. So that's one of my big reasons for doing the no buy challenge, is that I don't want to give my money to corporations. But mutual aid is between people. I follow her. She is interesting. She is interesting, yeah. I haven't seen her videos for a while. But I know that she does a lot of, I'm assuming that we're talking about Chinza. But she does a lot of personal improvement in a non-capitalist way, which, more of that, please. Also, I have to give a shout out to Robin Wall Kimmerer. In her book, Braiding Sweetgrass, she turned me on to the idea that having a gratitude practice is inherently anti-capitalist. And I'm like, okay, that's a good enough reason for me to actually consider doing a gratitude practice. Because up until I came across that argument for doing it, a lot of people who advocated for doing gratitude practices usually did it in like a prosperity gospel way, which I did not jive with. So I'm really glad to come across a perspective on gratitude and expressing gratitude that does not encourage people to, I don't want to say keep striving for more, but like just get their noses back to the grindstone. No, what I like about the gratitude practice is that it makes you inherently grateful for the possessions that you do have so you don't buy more. Because capitalism is kind of built on, oh, you're miserable? Buy this thing. And I'd rather not. Because, like, so much stuff is not good quality. It's also one of the big reasons that I've started making my own sweaters. This sweater I did not make, full disclosure. Maybe one day I will develop the skill enough to knit something like this, but I did not knit this. This I got thrifted last year. It occurred to me when I was going through my closet, I was like, almost everything here is either gifted, thrifted, or handmade. And I feel like that's a tagline in and of itself. Just gifted, thrifted, handmade. That's something that I personally strive for more, is to have more gifted, thrifted, and handmade things in my life. That's so real about buying things to make yourself feel better. Yeah, I used to be really bad about that. A chunk of that for me was realizing that I grew up poor and there was nobody really around to teach me how to budget and how to control my impulse spending and how to handle money in such a way that I didn't use it as a tool for like instant gratification when I felt sad. And nobody really gave me that tool set to know how to use basically a resource, because that's what money is. It's a resource. So there wasn't really anybody to give me those tools, emotionally speaking. Because like, I love you, Mom, but like, you didn't necessarily have the tools for that. Neither did Kevin, to be fair. But it wasn't until, oh my gosh, when did I start practicing this? It wasn't until I was like in my late 20s that It was actually at a point where I took a look at my credit card balance and I went, I can't keep going like this. And that's when I knew that something had to change. It took a long while to get out of that hole, but eventually I did.
Hey, Bree Bree.
Oh, I had to put Bree Bree's food away. That's why she's fussy. Hold on.
Bree Bree. Was that it? You just wanted your num-nums? Oh, I know. How dare I put your food away? I just didn't want Mooney to eat it.
Mooney has a tendency to eat Bree Bree's food, which he should not. Bree Bree's food is for little old lady cats, and he is the opposite of a little old lady. Catching up on comments. I buy user refurbished stuff most of the time. So much cheaper and better for the environment and my bank account. Totally get that. Jeremy says, I don't have a credit card yet-ish. My mom signed me up for one for clothes, but I don't plan to use it frequently. I will say this. I used to be kind of hesitant about credit cards. After the financial scare that a relative went through this past weekend, though, there's one thing that I can advocate for when it comes to credit card usage. Credit cards have better fraud protection than banks do. Which sounds weird, but let me explain. The problem that happened to my relative was that somebody skimmed their information off of DoorDash. Somebody pretended to be DoorDash fraud alert and was asking a ton of invasive questions and sending codes and asking them to send codes back and all this other stuff. And they were like, oh, this is a scam. But unfortunately, their DoorDash was connected to their bank account, not a credit card. So they had to freeze their bank account, and then they had to physically go into a bank, which was very hard for them because they're not in a position to very easily get to a bank. But they had to physically go into a bank, provide some paperwork, take care of some paperwork, and then the accounts were unfrozen. If this same scam happened and the scammer got your credit card information, it's as easy as calling the credit card company and saying, I think my card has been compromised, and they will reverse any charges that may have been put on there, and they will send you a new card and turn your old card off. So much easier. You don't have to have the hassle of running into a bank to turn things back on or off or anything like that. The only thing to watch for is credit card interest rates, depending on where you get the credit card and who is offering it. My pro tip to you, I've learned this the hard way. Do not take store brand credit cards. Do not accept them. Do not sign up for them, no matter how hard the salesperson is pushing. The salesperson is pushing because they get a commission for every credit card that they sell. Don't do it. Okay, catching up on comments. You're not wrong there. Yeah. I use my credit card for everything online because of that protection. Absolutely, especially when you're dealing with online spaces. Plus, as much as having a credit score is stupid, it's still good to have a history, so it's easier to get things like a car loan or applying for renting. That's something that my sibling and I are actually contending with because I'm not going to get into exact credit score numbers, but when it comes to going to rent a space, they care more about your credit history than your credit score. And credit cards are a good way to build up your credit history. Whenever somebody mentions that they're doing a soft pull on your credit, they are usually looking at your credit history, not your score. Also, yes, the idea of a credit score is absolutely stupid and somewhat racist in how it's built. I'll just go ahead and say that. This is actually something I've talked about with Leaf in way back when Queer Zest Zine Fest was happening, back in November. Leaf, shout out to Leaf. I'm pretty sure Leaf uses he, they pronouns, but I was talking with them because they were often the moderator for a lot of panels. And we came up with the idea of doing like a choose your own adventure zine for personal finance for artists. And we started outlining some ideas and stuff. And I'm like, I kind of want to revisit this idea. Yeah, darn it, I have a store credit card. It was for Kohl's because my mom wanted me to help save money on clothes. Do not close the account. Keep it open. Just don't use it. Because it's another thing I learned the hard way. If you close a credit card, that's going to reflect on your credit history because that closes a line in your history. So just keep it open. Keep it open, but don't use it. Yeah, that would be my recommendation for you. Look at the terms of service, though. Not every credit card does this, but there are some credit cards that will charge you an annual fee, whether you use the card or not. I know, this must be a thrilling conversation to catch live or on the replay. I am sorry, y'all. But hey, it's important for artists and folks who work in the creative industries to know these things. Because it's something that a lot of artists don't learn, even in school. Part of the reason that I feel like I'm as successful as I am, how I define success, is that I took some classes involving like budgeting, economics, and business finance when I was in college, which helps. Excuse me. I even took an accounting for non-majors class, which that was an interesting class. Actually, I learned a lot about how to use spreadsheets when I was in there. And now I have this, I don't want to say unhealthy love, but I certainly have a fondness and appreciation for spreadsheets. I do. I love them. I actually, so I've been working with Authors Against Book Bans recently, and I volunteered to help put together a spreadsheet for a resource that they want to put together. And when I said that I like doing spreadsheets and that sort of thing, they were, David Levithan was like, it is very rare to come across somebody that has that personality type that they love spreadsheets. And I'm like, yep. Speaking for myself, I find this part of the conversation quite insightful. Oh, good. I'm glad. Okay. So I'm taking that as permission to just keep talking numbers. So yeah, I will share some things just to, if nothing else, to be like, learn from my mistakes. Oh, I'm going to spread the word about this because this is a resource that more people need to know about, because TurboTax does not need any more of your money. You can file your tax return with the government for free. I don't remember the name of the website. There's a website that exists that you can just file it directly with the government for free, as long as you have an income of less than like $79,000 a year, which most people do. So shouting that out, you're welcome. There's a resource out there that exists for that. I almost forgot about it until I came across it on Tumblr, and I was like, oh yeah, that does exist. Good news, I decided to draw 2 tributes. Nice. Thank you, Laner Guy, for encouraging me to keep talking numbers. I know a bunny girl who loves spreadsheets. I've been trying to get her to show me. I think I know which bunny girl this is. Is this connected to the commission that you asked me to do that one time?
Bree. Did you hear Bunny? Sometimes I call Bree my honey bunny. Do you want to say hi to the internet? Or did you just want to say hi because you heard Bunny?
She's on her little old lady mat right now. Yes. Aha! I knew it. Okay.
Can I give you scoopins?
Sometimes when Bree's on her little old lady mat, she does not want scoopins, and she'll just dig her claws in. And I'm like, I don't want to mess up your blankets. Come on.
Hi, baby.
Maybe one day I'll get a webcam just specifically to target to Bree and her little old lady mat, so y'all can see Bree on her little old lady mat. I call my dog a Mushki Pushki. I mean, that's a good nickname for Jackson. Let's be real. Well, if Bree wants to jump up in my lap, she will start circling my chair like a shark. So I will give her the space if she wants to do that. Okay, this track has looped long enough. I'm going to change it. Got it from my dad, who used to call both Jackson and our previous dog Bruno that. Nice. The Bree cam. Yes, indeed, the Bree cam. One day we will get a Bree cam. Okay, I'm going to change up the tune. Let us do... Is it this one? It wasn't that one. It wasn't that one either. Nope. Nope. It was that one. Okay. I don't know why, but I was thinking about this. Probably because I was thinking about Ben Wright Human's live streams, and this track plays a lot on his live streams. This comes default with StreamYard. That's why. Oh, before starting tonight's stream, I was going to upload more music, and then I dug around and I went, oh, I need to uncompress a lot of these files. So next live stream I should have new music. I just got to actually remember to go into the place where I store that music and unpack some things. I haven't done that yet. Oh, I'll go ahead and share this part about Vanita and the Demon King, because this is from a original draft of the script. It did not make it into the final draft. I had to cut the scene. It just didn't fit with the rest of the plot. So there's a scene where Vanita meets, not Vanita, it's actually Claudia here, meets somebody. And then she looks at Acrodon and is like, are you going to introduce me to your friend? Because I'm not bending over. Because they're like leaning on the floor for whatever reason. And Claudia is like, are you going to introduce me to your friend? How about you stand up? Because I can't bend over. Yeah, in the original draft of the story, Claudia was a little bit more prominent, but I will be honest, after this particular scene, she's going to be MIA for a bit. Knowing that, though, I am going to make a tweak to a later section of the script to better reflect why she goes MIA. Because it's like, oh, yeah, she's definitely heavily pregnant, so that plays a role. Oh, there is a scene where she does appear again later, and I love the subtle snark that she shows in that particular scene, but I don't want to spoil anything. I'm also glad to see that there's so many people hanging out with us. Even if you're not chatting, which is totally okay. You don't have to engage in the chat if you don't want to. I just appreciate y'all being here. So thanks for hanging out with me. For anybody who is curious, because Streamyard does have the feature of highlighting comments to respond to them, I have not been doing that because I've been keeping an eye on the chat on my phone. I do not have Streamyard on my phone. If I wanted to highlight comments, I would have to do a lot of poking around. So just for the ease of like making it easier on the back end for me, I've not been doing that. Maybe once I get into a dual monitor situation, I can start doing that again. But honestly, I get the impression that folks are okay with me not highlighting comments on screen. I mean, let me know if I'm misreading that vibe, but the general impression that I get is that y'all are okay with me not highlighting comments. Thanks for having us. I'm going to hang a bit before sleep claims me. Fair enough. Fair enough. Maybe the lo-fi will help lull you to sleep. Oh, by the way, I know who that one commenter is. Feel free to reach out to me whenever you're ready for that cat commission. Because you and I were talking about that before. I'm drawing a witch replanting a flower for trees. The flower or trees for LA. Look up plants indigenous to California. That would be my recommendation for you if you wanted to move forward on that path. Because you think you might know, but you would be surprised at what is indigenous to the LA area. At least if looking up anything that would be indigenous to Ohio is any indication. Because when I actually looked up bird species indigenous to Ohio, Northwest Ohio specifically, for a project with the Toledo Arts Commission, and I was like, I haven't heard of half of these birds. Like, there's apparently a bird called a catbird. So called because its call sounds like a cat in the bushes. And I'm like, I didn't even know this was a bird. Why am I freehanding this line? I have a straight line tool. Okay. That's better. Okay, sorry. I was checking my phone notifications for a second because I was fully expecting AirLearn to pop up, because every once in a while I'll get a notification from AirLearn at about this hour. For folks who don't know, AirLearn is an alternative to Duolingo if you're looking to learn Spanish, French, German, or Japanese, or if you're looking to learn English as a second language. But AirLearn, their little mascot is a little cat. It is free to use. You get 5 free lessons a day max. It's honestly, I have found it more useful to learn Spanish in particular, because I found the Spanish learning in Duolingo really lackluster. But the Spanish learning in AirLearn, I was like, oh, stuff is actually sticking. Like, oh gosh. Now I'm learning French, so a lot of my Spanish has been lost on me. But, like, vestido amarillo, which I do not have. Yo no tengo vestido amarillo. There we go. I know how to say that, and I haven't taken Spanish in like 3 months. So, there you go. That's how good AirLearn is. Right now I'm learning French, and I thought Japanese had some weird linguistic rules. And then I started learning French. I am starting to understand why my older sister hates French. I'm starting to get it. Also, a whole lot of the English language just robbed French, just beat up French in a back alley and looted its pockets and pretended that it was English. Like, rendezvous is a French word. Dossier, French. Gosh, there are so many words in English that I'm like, I look at it and I'm like, oh, this was originally French, but English decided to take it and pronounce it slightly differently, but it's the same freaking word. Like intelligent. They're the same word in English and French, just different inflections. And I'm like, French, why are you like this? More accurately, English, why are you like this? Once you understand that English is just angry French, a lot of things start to click into place. Oh, catching up on comments. I am looking up Huchera Maxima as an example in California. I need to practice more languages again. Right now I am learning French in the event that I have to go to Canada this year. Because, like, I know that Toronto is not, like, I don't think Toronto is next to Quebec. I don't anticipate having to go to Quebec, but I did apply to table at the Toronto Comic Arts Fest. And if I need to learn some passable French before I go up into Canada, I want to make sure that I know my French. There's also, like, I would love to learn French if not just that, but also because one of my bucket list goals is to go to the Angoulême Comics Museum in France. And if I'm going to do that, I got to learn French. So that is another reason for me to learn French. That doesn't mean I have to like French. Because, like, I'll be honest, there's still a lot of French that I'm like, why are you like this? like there's a particular character. Like, you know how German has the umlauts, which are the 2 dots over certain vowels? Which my foreign language learning journey actually started with Latin. Then I took a post-secondary course to learn German back when I was in high school. So there's some German that I vaguely remember, but that was like 15 plus years ago. So a lot of it is just like evaporated out of my ears. But yeah, it started with Latin, then German, which I took a semester of. Then when I was in college, I actually didn't take any language courses because I had... The language courses that I had were a strange little caveat. Because I actually learned enough Latin that I almost didn't have to take a language requirement when I went to college. However, my junior year, like in the last semester of my junior year of high school, my Latin teacher passed away. So I couldn't take any more Latin courses, which meant when I got into college, I had 2 options before me to satisfy my foreign language requirement, which was either I could start an entirely new track and take that language course for like the equivalent of 2 years, or I could take 1 semester of classic Greek literature, and that would satisfy my requirement. So I took the course in classic Greek literature because I was like, my scholarship only covers me for 4 years, and I don't want to take my chances. So that was what I did. I hear a Bree.
There she is. You want to say hi to the internet? Yeah? Oh, your little chicken feet. Hold on. I know. Oh, goodness. Oh, I got her in my lap. Hold on.
Oh, she's sitting on my cord.
Hello, madam. It's kitty time. Hello, Bree. This is Bree. She is 18 years old. If she makes it to May, she will be 19. She's going to be going to the kitty doctor next week to get some arthritis medication. Wish me luck, because she does not like going to the kitty doctor. So I did get some new gabapentin to make my life a lot easier and to make her life a little easier. Let's see. Bree! You can do it, Bree. Jeremy believes in you, Bree. Are you going to settle on your little old lady mat? Oh.
Would love to go to TCAF. Yes, it's been on my bucket list for years. I am so excited. I hope I make it into TCAF. I really hope I make it into TCAF. The Toronto Comic Arts Fest, for folks who do not know. Catching up on things. Habursky says the official court language of the English kings and nobility was French for 300 years. Yeah, that explains a lot. Was about to say the same, says Laner Guy, and it's probably more the other way around. A France-controlled nation conquered England in the past, and that's why we have a ton of French isms in English. The same sort of thing happened with Spanish and Arabic when the Arabic language moved west and made it to Spain and conquered Spain for a little bit. A lot of the language made it into Spanish. So about 10% of the Spanish language is actually Arabic. Fun fact. I want to go back to old Canada. French and English history was heavily intertwined for dates. And then we got the 100 Years' War. Tons of interesting history there. Trying to look into some programs to sign up for, or scholarship programs. Good luck, Jeremy. Beautiful cat. Thank you.
Laner Guy just called you a beautiful cat. Because you're a beautiful cat.
Oh man, gabapentin messed up my brain so much. Yeah. I just know gabapentin as a medication for
I mean, there's a couple different uses for it when dealing with pets. For Bree, it's a way to keep her calm when she has to go to the vet. The kitty doctor, I should say. But it's a way to keep her calm. Because otherwise, I actually had to fill out some paperwork to pick up the gabapentin. And the paperwork called Bree a caution cat. She's not as bad as her littermate Scarlet. May Scarlet rest in peace. Scarlet was the worst when taking her to the vet. But if Bree is not gabapentined up, she gets nasty. So it's just better if she goes in drugged. The last time that I took her to the kitty vet, though, or to the kitty doctor, though, she, I gave her the gabapentin as directed, and she just, I had to put her in like a little towel to, one, keep her warm because it was winter, and two, to give her something that kind of smelled like me to keep her calm. And when she went to the kitty doctor, she just stuffed her face into the towel and angrily loafed and did not move. And I was like, oh, I know that you're mad at me, but this is so cute. Checking in on the other fur babies here. A Boo is still her usual self. She was definitely begging for my dinner when I had dinner earlier, though, because I had chicken nuggets and she could smell the chicken. Boo is a fiend for chicken. Anything chicken, she wants it. Anything cheese, she wants it. And I'm like, this is my dinner, honey. So that's how Boo is doing. Mooney, while I was watching the new Folding Ideas video, Mooney just came up and he flopped against my leg and immediately started to nap. And I was like, oh, baby. Actually, the rectangle tool gives me a straighter line. Wrong layer. Okay. I'm going to move that over. There. Oh, idea. Rectangle marquee. Select the area that I want to keep. And then I hit this button for invert selected area, delete, and done. Oh, before I merge the layers, I got to go back in and I got to erase some of these things. Boom. Okay. Oh! Los, I don't know if you get Dropout TV or not. I did see Dungeons and Drag Queens Season 2 started. Don't spoil it for me because I haven't watched the first episode yet, but I am going to. Very soon, if not tonight. I might just have to start it tonight. We'll see. Spicy loaf. Mooney is a spicy loaf. Let's be real. That feel when you identify more with cat than humans. I mean, that is my roommate Alex. So you're not alone there. Oh, I gotta draw the books. Okay. Why did I put a bookcase in this scene? All right. Past me came up with this idea. I might as well do it. So, all right. We're gonna make this layer blue again. Because now I gotta take care of over here. Oh. Okay. Well,
That part was easy. All right. Cool. Take that part and move it down, and then I'm going to select this portion of the shelf, free transform, and line up the lines. And done. Oh, I was about to use the wand to like invert, select, delete, and then I went, no, that's going to delete like 3 shelves worth of stuff, and let's not do that. So. Okay. Move that part down. At least this portion is like smaller. So. Got it. Ooh, okay. If you folks have not seen Nigel and Marmalade, you need to fix that. Because I need to drag other people into the pit of Nigel and Marmalade with me so that you can understand when I start saying Patricia-isms. I need people to understand. Stick 'em up, you. Oh, no. Hang on a tick, I've forgotten how to fire it. I was just thinking of Patricia when I said, got it, because she said that in a short. The full context of the joke is there's an emerald that she wants to swipe, and they open up the gates, and inside the gates it's like, if you bag of bellends want this gem, you must get past me, Martin the Destroyer. And then behind him Patricia's like, got it. Patricia is my favorite psychopathic pink blob, and I need all of y'all to understand who I'm talking about. So go check out the Nigel and Marmalade shorts. This is also kind of a low-key way of how I got my roommate Alex into Critical Role. I was like, you need to check this out so that I'm not the only one suffering. And now she has fallen so far into the Critical Role rabbit hole that she is planning on going to C2E2 this year because Critical Role is going to be there. And now I'm like, well, god damn it, now I gotta figure out how to get there. I know that this is the no-buy year, and yet at the same time, I want to go. Well, and also going to Chicago. I have friends in Chicago, and it would be nice to see them too. So there is that too. I also want to see Quimby's one more time because, for folks who are not in the zine scene, so Quimby's is a very indie store in I almost said Columbus, Chicago. It's in Chicago. It's not the original Quimby's location. I think the original is actually in New York. But Quimby's Chicago, that was another on my bucket list of places to go. I'm so glad that I've been there. I think I've been there twice now. At least once. At least once. I thought that it was twice, but it was only once. It was when I was in college. Memories kind of blur after a point. But went to Quimby's once, and you want to find wacky zines, you want to find wacky small self-published stuff, you want to find wild manifestos on stuff, Quimby's got you covered. They're I don't want to say an anarchist mecca, but they do carry anarchist stuff, as well as like literally any other stuff. So they are worth checking out, in my opinion. But they are also looking to change management soon. So I want to try to check out Quimby's. I probably won't be able to check them out before any major changes happen, but I do want to at least see them sometime this year. I feel like experiences are a gray area for a no-buy year. I think it's contingent on the experience and what it means to you. I will say, I don't really give a shit about the rest of C2E2 if I do get a chance to go. The only reason I would want to go is to see Critical Role, because I started watching them back when they were still on the Geek and Sundry channel. I started watching Campaign 1 from there, and I've been with them since. I did take a break from Campaign 3 at one point because... Pro tip, don't get involved in fandoms. I didn't get too deep into the fandom, but I did have an encounter with an in-person fan of Critical Role that just thinking about the point of contention that made me go, I need to take a break from this. Which was that this person was like, no, these people are strategic. They plan things out. And I'm like, what are you talking about? These people don't plan anything out. They wing it and they hope for the best. That's part of the appeal, is the fact that they just go in headfirst into a situation. They don't really strategize. They're just like, I have these abilities. Let's use them. And that's what makes it entertaining. Don't try to tell me, though, that the Critical Role, like, cast members tried to strategize before major encounters, because, like, just enjoy the ride. You don't need to try to pretend to play 4D chess, because they certainly aren't. Yeah, but that interaction soured me on the fandom for a little bit, and then soured me on the show as a whole, so I had to take a break. That was also right around the time of... I want to say that it was episode 78 that this happened. There was an incident that happened in the campaign that made me go, I gotta take a break. Now, thankfully, they did rebound. Because I'm catching up on Campaign 3 now. I'm actually listening to the episodes at 2 times speed, so in order to catch up faster. So now I'm at like episode 83-ish. I gotta tell you what, if you want to speed through Critical Role, listen to it at 2 times speed. I have discovered, at least for how my brain works, I gotta listen to audiobooks and podcasts, with some exceptions, at 2 times speed for things to stick and for me to not get bored. Because otherwise I will get bored and I will click away from it. The exception to this rule is the podcast If Books Could Kill. I've talked about this podcast before. If you haven't checked it out, you really should. Because If Books Could Kill talks about the most popular books in the last 50 years, their cultural impact, and to what extent do they suck and why. If you want a really good idea of like the kind of coverage that they do, check out the If Books Could Kill episode on either Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell or The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. Either of those are really good starting episodes. Though every once in a while, when I need a comfort listen, I will turn on their episodes on The Secret or Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I love how much they hate Rich Dad, Poor Dad, because Rich Dad, Poor Dad is an awful book. Don't read it. I mean, read it for the unhinged financial takes, because a lot of what Robert Kiyosaki advocates for is actually tax fraud. Don't follow his advice. But if you're looking for a good bad time, read his book. Because a lot of it is just stuff that he made up. Even his like childhood anecdotes, 99% of it is stuff that he made up. So, you know, don't read it for any kind of like actual advice. Read it because it's awful and funny. But also read it as a way to be like, do not be like this person. Because one of his bits of financial advice is, whenever you get a big pay raise, upgrade your home and get a bigger house. And I'm like, this is the worst suggestion I've ever seen a financial quote-unquote guru make to anybody. That's just so patently dumb. Oh, catching up on comments, because I see there's some new comments. I feel like oh yeah, we saw that one. C2E2's location is relatively close to Chinatown. You got to stop at various food places. Milk tea, real dim sum, the bakeries. Oh man, you're making my mouth water. My God, Gary. Yeah. Okay. Definitely got to check those out. I also want to low-key check out Ed DeBevick's. That is one thing I do regret from the last time that I was in Chicago, was that I did not go to Ed DeBevick's. Even though I said that I wanted to and that I was going to, unfortunately, the chance that I did get at the time, I was like, you know what? No, I can't do it. Because I needed to be like away from people for a little while, because I was peopled out. I am now at a point where I'm like, you know what? I want to go. Like, whatever it takes, I want to go. Because Ed DeBevick's actually popped up as a place, it popped up as a place to check out for like unique diner experiences. For folks who have no idea what Ed DeBevick's is, there's a very similar like chain of restaurants in Ireland that does the same sort of thing, where the experience is that the staff does not want you to be there. And they are just rude to you the whole time. Like, that is the experience of going to Ed DeBevick's. And there's a chain of restaurants in Ireland, and I cannot remember what the name of it is, but it's mentioned in the Versus Wolves podcast, because one of the guys is Irish. Jeremy says, I love bakeries. Yeah, if you ever find yourself in Columbus, Ohio, there is a bakery across the street from J Avenue. I can't remember what street that's on. But J Avenue is next to it's next to a Japanese food mart and a few other stores. And one of them is a little Japanese bakery. I cannot remember the name of this bakery off the top of my head, but if you ever find yourself in Columbus, Ohio, and you find yourself near J Avenue, just look across the way. The bakery is right there. They're delightful. Go check them out. Also, their food is delicious. They have these like Nutella stuffed bread rolls in the shape of cats. It's adorable and precious, and I love it.
Oof, this page took a while to ink. Goodness. That was not the curve I wanted. That wasn't it either. Aha! Bringing back the professor from the original Spyro games. The original trilogy. Thank you very much. I saw the Cat Icarus episode talking about every Spyro game released. Like, I'm glad that I stopped at the original trilogy and then Reignited, which I still need to play more of Reignited, but turns out I'm not much of a video gamer. Turns out I have a stack of library books that is about yay tall that I would rather go through. I have a lot of reads that I got to catch up on. As far as stuff that I've finished recently, I've been reading Blue Period, the manga, which, if you haven't read it and you're an art person, you got to read Blue Period. I've been really enjoying it. I just finished volume 9. I also finished Hope in the Dark by Rebecca Solnit, and I feel like that's a must read, especially for people of particular political persuasions. You got to read Hope in the Dark by Rebecca Solnit. It was originally written during the Bush administration, and then it had a not a rewrite, but like an afterword and a preface that were both written in 2016 or 2015. I can't remember which, but turns out a lot of the stuff that people are saying about the incoming administration are things that people were saying about the first W. Bush administration. So this is super familiar ground even for back then. So yeah, again, Hope in the Dark by Rebecca Solnit. Recommend. I'm starting to read Parable of the Sower by Octavia Butler. I will let you know that there is a sequel. The series was intended to be a trilogy. It is not finished, and that is frustrating. Just giving you the heads up about that now. So if you wanted to stop at just Parable of the Sower, that's fine. I want to get into Blue Period, but it feels, for the lack of a better word, blue. A little too melancholic that I need to be in a certain mood to read it. That is interesting. What makes you feel like it's blue? I'm curious now. Because that's not the impression that I get looking at the book. I mean, for the first half of it. Once he gets into art school and then he starts like taking art seriously, there is some melancholy in there, but I don't know. For the first half of the story, I did not get that impression at all. So I'd like to know just your feedback on it. What makes you say that? I'm almost done. I am almost done with the inks. Holy banana pants. Okay. I only watched the first episode of the anime, so that may have something to do with it. I haven't seen the anime, so that may be like 99% of it. Or maybe I get a little too introspective when I watched it regarding my own art. Well, that's the thing. That's kind of one of my favorite things about Blue Period, is that if you are an artist and you are watching Blue Period, it makes you introspect on your own art and your own philosophy on making art.
And that's one of my favorite things about that series. I like how it makes me reconsider my own stances on art. Okay, the inks are done. Oh, thank goodness. Gosh, that took a while. So, just going to catch up on comments again. Only mention this because Kelsey mentioned a historical fiction book about Bush. Hope in the Dark is not fiction. It's nonfiction. Because there's a lot talked about in terms of like resistance movements from 2003 to 2014 in that book. So yeah, Hope in the Dark by Rebecca Solnit is a nonfiction book, just to clarify. But oh, never mind. I meant nonfiction. Okay. I did hear that Lindsay Ellis has a book series. Axiom's End and then its sequels that are actually set in a post 9/11 timeline where Dick Cheney becomes president, which interesting twist. I have not read this book series yet. I'm not sure that I want to read it yet. Firstly, because my current library borrow stack is like this tall and I need to get through that first. If my library has that book series, though, I'll read it because I'm willing to give it a shot. But I will check out Hope in the Dark. I have a copy of Axiom's End. Neat. If you are going to read a book by a YouTube person, though, read Iron Widow. Holy shit! That was the first book that I finished in, I want to say 2024. No, 2023. Back in 2023, that was the first book that I finished, was Iron Widow. Wow, so good. I need to read the sequel so bad. The sequel should be out by now, so I'm going to investigate and make sure the sequel's out by this point. Okay. So we're actually getting close to 9 o'clock, and I will be honest, I've been setting a boundary for myself in terms of when I want to wrap up work in the evenings. It is out. Oh, yes! I need to read it. Good. The author in question is Jiren J. Zhao. I'm probably mispronouncing that. I'm so sorry. I have both Widow and Axioms, and I still need to read them. I still need to read Axioms. I still need to read the two freaking... Okay. Before I wrap up the stream, I got to talk a little bit about some of my recent acquisitions around Christmas time, because I did do some fun shopping around Christmas before the no-buy year fully kicked in. So I did a pop-up event at my comic shop on Christmas Eve. I'm going to turn the music off because we're going to need to turn the music off. So I'm at this pop-up event. I turn around. The comic store has back issues behind me. And I look at those back issues and I go, wouldn't this be interesting if Elric was in the back issues? Because believe it or not, Michael Moorcock's Elric was a comic series in the 80s. And a lot of it was illustrated by P. Craig Russell, who would go on to illustrate a lot of Neil Gaiman comic book adaptations, including American Gods. So imagine my surprise when there's a dull period and I'm like, I'm going to investigate the back issues. And I go to the back issues and there are copies of Elric. And I find the entire 5-issue run of The Weird of the White Wolf. And I'm like, done. I'm getting this. So, and I had Christmas money to spend. So I got myself The Weird of the White Wolf as well as, I want to say, issue 6 of the original Elric run, which was actually the final issue that I needed to finish out my run, because I had the first 5 issues. I no longer have them in my possession, but I read the first 5 issues and I was like, yes, finally, the final issue. So I got that one. Very excited about that one. So I have The Weird of the White Wolf. I have Revenge of the Rose. And I have Fortress of the Black Pearl. And I still need to read these. They're on my TBR. Eventually I will get to them, because I still need to record that video of my strong emotions pertaining to Citadel of Forgotten Myths. Eventually I will get there. Ooh, the sequel to Iron Widow is called Heavenly Tyrant. I am writing this down because I am definitely going to look this up. Heavenly Tyrant by Jiren J. Zhao. Again, probably mispronouncing that. Sorry. Yes, so those are my strong feelings pertaining to some of those books. I also did acquire a copy of Thorn by Jeff Smith, which features the original comic strips that he made for OSU's newspaper back when he was in college. So, huzzah. Glad I got that book as well. That was my Christmas present to me, was Elric, Weird of the White Wolf, all those back issues. Issue number 6 of the original Elric run. There's another issue of an Elric run that I got, but it's actually part of a mini-series that I don't have the rest of yet. And Thorn by Jeff Smith. So those are my Christmas presents to me, along with a new mattress. I'm glad I got that new mattress. The old one really needed thrown out. So this is what we got done. I'm actually going to wrap up the live stream here because it is close to 9 o'clock. And I'm trying to be really good about setting that timeline boundary for myself of being like, okay, 8 o'clock is my hard out time. Now, clearly we went past 8 o'clock. I think live streams, I'm going to make the exception to the whole be done by 8 o'clock rule. But like whenever I'm not doing live streams, I want to be done with studio work by 8 o'clock because I already start pretty early. And I don't need to be at the computer all day. My head cannot handle the vision-related headaches that I get when I do that. So just for my own health, I have to have a hard out whenever I'm not doing live streams. Since I'm doing live streams, though, I'm going to say that my hard out for the live streams that I host on this channel, my hard out is going to be 9 o'clock. I got to be done. So just moving forward, keep that in mind. There may be some exceptions, and if there are exceptions, I will announce those. But moving forward with these live streams, I'm going to have a hard out by I got to be done by 9, just for my own health. And I want to respect that boundary. So thank you for your understanding, and thank you for respecting the boundary that I am setting forth. Also, shout out to everybody hanging out in the live chat with me. This was a very active chat today. So thank you, everybody, for hanging out with me. And also thank you for the folks who were lurking while I was working and who were not participating in chat. Totally okay. You're totally valid. Really appreciate you being here as well. I do not know when the next live stream is going to be. The next week is actually kind of wibbly wobbly as far as stuff goes. But the next time that I do stream, I'll give y'all a notice on the community tab. So I'm also going to say this now. One of my goals for this year is to reach 1,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel. So if you're not subscribed yet, maybe you should hit that subscribe button. Anything else YouTube related, cool. But honestly, subscribing would help this channel out a lot. So thank you if you do that, please do that. Thanks again for having us. Thank you for being here. I'll go ahead and wrap this up now. And yeah, subscribe so that you know when the next live stream is. So that's all I got for now. Thank you for hanging out with me for chatting, for lurking, for watching. You are awesome.